Teachers have always played an important role in the lives of their students. It did with me. They help our kids tap into their natural creativity and teach them about cooperation and self-discipline. It's a bonus that when kids have learned about scales and clefs, they find math and English concepts easier to grasp. That's because of how music education expands the young person's spatial IQ. Reading poetry and solving an equation is easy.
This is short.
Kids know they're sharp in class. Help your kids get to know their music teacher at their school. Get them involved in music for sure.
A PSA brought to you by MEMC, the National Association for Music Education, and the National Anthem Project.
Okay, we're on.
Campaign to restore
We're on.
America's voice through.
And hello, this is Dr. Crystal Porter, and I am your host for How the Hair Are You? I hope everyone is doing well. I am actually joined in the studio with trichologist and educator Melvina Cox. Sorry about that. And I want to actually talk a little bit about some things that's going on and hot in the area of hair. And you are the perfect guest, so thank you for coming in. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for the platform to even be able to discuss it with you, Crystal.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so let's give the listeners some background information about you. Can you tell us your education, what you're doing now, and what your passion is?
I am an educator. First of all, a licensed cosmetologist, cosmetology instructor. My platform has been with numerous of the major hair care companies. I've traveled extensively throughout the world teaching and educating. And about 19 years ago, I had the opportunity to interview and start working with a company that had a hair loss product. And having experienced some hair loss issues in my own life, I had a passion for learning more. That started my training. I went further studying at some of the association programs where they have their certifications and things of that nature, but it still wasn't enough knowledge. So I found a school that transitioned me into studying and becoming a licensed, certified trichologist, hair loss specialist, hair care practitioner, because all of those terms are used to describe who a trichologist is.
Okay.
So my passion is saving hair.
So can you please let us know exactly what trichology is? Because people in the field are familiar, well, most of them are familiar with the field of trichology, but there are a lot of listeners who know absolutely nothing about trichology. So can you actually explain what it is?
Trichology is actually the study of hair and scalp disease / disorders. Some people may experience problems with dryness, oily scalps, pustules or pimples on the scalp, hair shedding more so excessively because you get normal hair shedding all the time. Hair lost in areas, baldness and spots, which is called alopecia independent. There's several types of alopecia. The general one that most people see is alopecia areata, which is baldness and spots, and people see it, they get more alarmed because they don't understand where it comes from, and the general term of alopecia areata can come from stress for the most part. I experience it, first of all, with college students, especially when it's time for exams. You know, they stress out, they're not eating properly. So all of those things cause some hair loss, as well as individuals that basically have poor eating habits. That's a big problem.
Yes. And you hit on something very interesting, because more recently you read a lot about how we're not getting the nutrition from food that we used to get.
Yes.
So they encourage the use of supplements.
Yes.
And that's a whole nother discussion.
Yes, it is.
But can you give a little bit of information about the importance of the nutrition and its impact on hair growth or some of the hair problems that you may get?
I like to coin the phrase, you are what you eat. Vegetables, fruits are vitally important in our nutrition every day. Individuals that have bad eating habits that don't include enough fruit and vegetables or supplements in their diet tend to have more challenges, not only with their health issues, which causes problems with the hair. Hair takes a sacrifice for most of the illnesses that we have in our bodies. So if you're not getting enough of the right nutrition daily, you're gonna have issues with hair loss, as well as other medical issues, which causes more problems, especially if you start taking medication. Because everything that goes through the blood feed all of the organs, the hair, the skin, the nails.
So you talk about nutrition as an umbrella, but
Yes.
there are some specific things that we should have
Yes.
that really would help or our hair follicles would benefit and actually make it a better environment for hair to grow.
Yes.
So can you give us some examples of some
Food substance,
foods,
because
because you hear that, you know,
Yeah.
fiber is good, you hear that, of course, fruits and, you know, the omega-3s, I mean, you hear a lot, so what of those are specific for hair?
Omega-3 is a big one, and a lot of the times people don't have enough of that in their diet. You can get it from nuts, you can get it from different types of fish, the healthier fishes, of course, in the seafood family.
So what's a healthy fish?
My favorite is salmon.
Okay.
That's one of the healthier fishes.
Well,
a lot of the time.
So Atlantic,
Well,
like ocean or farm raised? I mean, because you have different.
Usually they say the farm raised are better, but you know, a lot of the times they have different types, depending on where they come from. A lot of people like Atlantic, some of it is okay, but they also say depends on the ocean and where you catch them.
Exactly.
That is the exact right. So, but most times, a lot of individuals don't like certain types of seafood. Nuts, almonds, walnuts are some excellent nuts. Those are the best ones to help giving you the nutrition that you need. Your protein, your iron, there's oil in them as well, so you get the omega-3. Most individuals don't like kale.
I don't know how someone can like kale. I love
Spinach,
kale.
I love it too.
spinach,
I love kale salads. I love the spinach salads. Those are some of the better greens, the darker greens, leafier greens. They have like butter, lettuce, and other things that you could mix in to kind of give it a little more, you know, flavor, because they're sweeter taste, you know. Greens, collard greens. A lot of people don't like them. Stir frying them is really good. You know, there's another way to cook them, not to overcook them, which is another challenge we have with people overcooking their vegetables. They should be crunchy. Another good food substance that a lot of individuals don't particularly care for, and that is beets, because it helps build the blood. Healthy blood is good for growing healthy hair. And then, you know, a lot of other different substances. Breakfast foods, usually people have more problems with that, but juicing is always good. You can juice your vegetables, it goes right into the bloodstream. That's the healthiest form of getting all the nutrition that you need.
So there's been a debate whether or not it's better to have juice or smoothies, where you actually blend everything together and have more, I guess, fiber. So which would you prefer and why?
It depends. If I just want to have a little fun and have a little smoothie, that's wonderful. You can blend them, but if you have a good juicer, you can juice your greens. Put your vegetables into the juicer, blend them. The NutriBullet is one of my favorite things to do. You can do your cucumbers, you can do your kale, you can do spinach, you can do apples, you can do your oranges and make it that way. That's a better form of getting the nutrition. Smoothies, you know, they're good and you get some nutrition out of it, but a lot of the times people just want it for the fun factor of having something sweet, you know. So, but regular juicing, I started it years ago, which helped to start building up my health after I lost my hair. And it really does work, but there are certain produce that you should use to juice to help with healthy hair fibers.
So you're talking about juicing on your own, like getting your own ingredients and blending them yourself.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, because so many times it's just easier, especially with our lifestyle, with everyone being busy, everybody wanting to be fast-paced, you know, really pick up something quick at the store. So there aren't any ready-made juices that you know that you can like go to a grocery store and buy? Is there something that you recommend, or you are really adamant about blending your own and making it fresh every morning?
There are ready-made juices. I mean, go for it. It helps, but the best way to get your nutrients is to do juicing yourself at home, buying your produce and doing it, a home-based juicing. I don't have anything against them, particularly I don't like the way they taste. Sometimes they're sitting in plastic, sitting in stores, things like that. So it depends, I tend to like to do it myself, and I recommend it to my customers when I start talking about juicing. And you can have better control of the quality of it when you're doing it at home yourself.
Okay. Yes, I agree. I think having it fresh and having your own ingredients
Yes.
and playing with the taste.
Playing
because
with
you
the
can-
taste, yes, yes.
You're allowed to look like, for example, I love ginger.
Yes.
Love the flavor of ginger, but there are some people who can't take it, but I love it.
Yes.
And I like it strong
And a lot of people cannot take that, but it's actually one of the best ingredients for digestion too. And a lot of people don't understand. God gave us everything we needed. We have a lot of ingredients that we can use in foods that help with all of the ailments, our digestion, inflammation in our bodies, our skin irritation. So we just have to learn to use it. And everybody's using the internet. Use the internet to get some of the right information, because there are recipes out there. If you don't, depending on people's medical background, some things don't work well with certain medications, so you have to talk to your doctors and get information like that. But for the most part, it would be great to, if you just incorporate it in your diet for at least one meal a day, just to do some juicing. Sometimes your body would be so much healthier. Your skin, your nails, your organs, everything will be smiling and happy and glad you did, because it's going to help to build better bones, especially if you start with you, skin, your hair. Your hair is going to especially love it, because the environment itself causes a lot of issues with our hair, not only with the practices that we tend to do for styling purposes, but a good nutrition is a good starting point for healthy hair.
So you mentioned, you said iron, and you're talking about the omega-3s. But what about biotin? I have a lot of questions. People ask me, is biotin good? So do you have any information?
Yes,
that
it
you'd like to
is.
share?
Biotin is good, zinc is good, magnesium. A lot of the times when consumers, or we have problems with our skin and scalp, there is a lack of zinc in our body or magnesium in our body. That's why eating a lot of your vegetables and your fruits can also help with that. There is a lot of misnomer about some of the hair, skin, and nail vitamins out there, and does it have the correct amount, the functional amount of the zinc and the magnesium and the biotin in it? Some of them do, some of them don't. I tend to instruct individuals to talk to your doctors. They have some wonderful products. We don't want to go into calling the names of companies and products, but if you get a good, well-rounded multivitamin, you can get the nutrients that you need in there. A lot of the times, though, depending on, I will always go back to the health of an individual's body. Sometimes we are depleted in vitamin D. We don't get enough sun with your vitamin D supplements. That can cause issues with your hair as well. So just getting a good, well-rounded, read the labels. All labels are not equal. Read your labels. And discuss with your doctors or with a nutritionist. They can generally give you the best information about the amount or the milligrams of how much each vitamin or ingredient should have. So everybody preaches on biotin. They have biotin in products, hair products. It's biotin in some of your foods. It's biotin in your vitamins, but that's not the only thing that you need, because most individuals don't understand that if you're taking a multivitamin, or you're taking vitamin B, or you're taking vitamin C, you need a well-rounded amount of minerals for any of it to absorb into your body. If not, a lot of people have very expensive urine because they're taking a vitamin B or they're taking a vitamin C, and it's really not doing you the best that it should for you, your nutritional health. But get a good multiple vitamin. It's got minerals in it, and then you can take all of the other additives depending on what is suggested by doctors most of the time. Because a lot of times we pick up things and we don't know what we're taking. We hear, oh, I need crystal, or I need this, and they run out. And people buy things, and you're not aware what your body needs or what your body can take. We become allergic to things, which causes problems with the scalp, hair as well. So just go to a doctor. I always suggest that. Get a good physical, find out if you have any deficiencies first before you start taking a lot of these additives.
So you said something that I thought was kind of funny when you said it, but you said expensive urine.
Yes.
I'm not sure people understand what that means. I think I know. I believe I know what you're talking about.
If they say, oh, just take biotin and all you're taking is biotin, or you're just taking zinc, or you're taking vitamin B, vitamin B6 or B12 or whatever. Most of those vitamins will not absorb into the body properly unless you have the right amount of minerals from other vitamin supplements in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So you need more than just the vitamin B. You need the omega, you need the zinc, you need the iron.
So there's a synergistic effect.
There's a synergistic effects with vitamins and the ingredients that are in vitamins to help with the body's absorption and in order to help the organs, the skin, the nails, the hair. So that's why I say it just flushes right out into the urine.
Right. So what I was thinking you were saying is that they're water soluble.
Yeah.
And
well,
so sometimes when you actually
right.
overdo it, then it just flushes right out and you get
that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's not really giving you any value. You know, you're just spending your money. Okay, and you're taking something that's not really absorbing and giving you the benefit that it's supposed to. So most times in discussing hair care, especially with individuals, because it's an epidemic out here right now.
Absolutely.
The best thing to do is to start with a consultation. Then you find out what people's needs are, because everybody's different.
Yes.
Okay, so that's usually where I start with the hair loss process, because it's so widespread now. And there are a number of different reasons as to why, and I'm sure we'll discuss a few of those
Right.
in this conversation. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you have a different perspective, because as a trichologist, you're not only just looking at hair care,
No.
you're actually incorporating nutrition,
Yes.
but also grooming habits and practices. I mean, it's like
Very.
all encompassing.
Yes, it is. It is a full circle effect of it. And if you miss out on one of those components, you may misdiagnose or make recommendations for someone that's having hair loss. And you should always, always recommend medical people, because your doctor, your internist, your dermatologist, there are other people that can aid you in helping to find out what's wrong with the client when it looks here.
Right.
And I speak from I guess more of a holistic approach, because I don't advocate everything that can, how should I say, restore hair loss, because there's some practices out there that are not real healthy. But I tend to start with your nutrition. Start with what you know you're doing, some of your habits, your eating habits, your medical conditions. Those are key before we start looking at other areas that may be causing hair loss. Start with me. So it's a little different. A lot of people will look at it and just from a hairstyling point of view. Everyone likes to look at it that way. Should I say most stylists these days? Because most stylists don't have training in understanding the causes of hair loss. They go with the big three. Oh, you got a heart condition. Oh, you have hypertension. Oh, you may have a thyroid condition. Oh, you've just been combing too hard. Or you've been using those. It's a lot deeper in most cases. So
it's very complicated.
Yeah, it's very, very complicated.
And I wish you were here for the full 2 hours, because there are some points that I want to hit on that you won't be
around.
Around to
I'll
discuss.
come back.
But you have to come back. You
Okay.
have to come back, because we need your level of expertise.
Okay.
There are so many things that need to be considered, and I don't know if you got a chance to read the article that I wrote.
I read the article. It is so troubling.
Oh, okay, so
Yes.
we'll talk a little bit more about that in terms
Okay.
of the article that
Okay.
we're referring to, because some of the listeners don't know what we're talking about, but we'll talk about that in the other segment. But
Okay.
I want to end this segment with people actually having some contact information
Okay.
about you, or
Okay.
how to reach you, because you're very knowledgeable and there is a lot of knowledge to share, and people are yearning for more information that
correct
is
information.
exactly. So can you give us some contact information for you?
My name is Melvina Cox. My number is 773-914-0421. That's 773-914-0421. I'm located in the South Loop of Chicago, 2600 South Michigan. It's in the medical building, diagonally across from Mercy Hospital.
Excellent.
And I work by appointment only.
Okay. All right. And what type of services do you provide so that the listeners will
I am a hair designer first, but I also schedule appointments to do trichology services, which include a consultation, which is going to take around an hour and a half to 2 hours, because there's a written portion for the client. Then there's a consultation talking back and forth with me, because I'm going to ask a lot of questions. And generally, depending on the level of your hair loss or your concerns, there is a process of scanning the scalp with a indigo viewer tricholoscope. I will go through that as well. That's included in the consultation. And there's a two-part conversations, because most people don't want to start out with the most expensive one. So I can give you some general information in a basic consultation and a more advanced consultation. And then I can make recommendations as to where I think we should start. If you have a lot of medical conditions, I'm going to suggest that you see your doctor before we continue with some of the practices, because there are different treatments you can do, starting with scalp exfoliations, general basic hair practices that most of us were taught in beauty school by doing manipulations of the scalp, bringing the blood flow up, brushing with the right type of brush, doing the right type of shampooing, and most people forget about those practices. And then there are other treatments that are more advanced depending on your condition. So we'll discuss all of that in the consultation, and then we'll figure out a plan, because there could be a 6-week plan, there could be a 3-month plan, 12 weeks, it depends on the severity of the situation.
Okay, and is there a website that you have?
I have a website that's under construction right now.
Okay.
So.
Okay, that's
Okay,
fine. I
okay.
just wanted to make
No,
sure
I'm,
that they
I'm revising it, so, yeah.
understand. Well, I'm
Yeah.
doing the same time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
because you
All
have to update them, it's time to do some updating.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are at the close of this first segment. We're going to take maybe about a 7-minute break, and then we'll be back. And so anyone who knows me knows that I love Stevie, and he was on the Grammys. Yes, he was on the Grammys last night.
Yeah, he
so
was.
we are going to start off with a Stevie song, and we will be back on the other side. Stay tuned.
Great. That passed quick.
I told you. No, we're off, but
Okay.
I'm gonna turn this one off. We'll be back.